Hi, welcome to Ups and Downs of Life in Namibia. So, where we'll be telling you our ups and downs that we went through. We just hope that you will be inspired one way or another. So, in part one, I was telling you the things that I went through as a child, the abuse that I went through um, when I was a child, and I'm just continuing from there. And I told you that somewhere when I was in grade one, my mother came to get me from the village to take me to town, Grootfontein. So this is what happened. So when my mother come get me from the village, she made sure that she cleaned me up. That was the first thing that she did. I was really dirty, so she has to clean me up thoroughly and make sure that now she is clean. I remember my knees, my mother used to scrub my feet, they were cracked. I was just a dirty child, and she has to make sure that she really, really cleaned me up. That time I was just seven. Yeah, I turned 7. I was 7 years old. I finished my grade one. So I was supposed to go to grade two in Grootfontein. So when school started, my mother has to go to one of the schools in Grootfontein. So she went there and she asked, this is my child. She finished grade one, and this is her school report. So can you admit her? So she went to apply. Actually, she went to look for space because application usually in my country is done in August. You need to in August you need to look for space or for a grade for your child, if either you are moving her or she's just starting. So August is the time to apply. So and for her, she went there January when classes were already done. Okay. I mean, not classes, when school when school has already started. So it was really hard for her to get a school for me. So there was this school that she went to, and she was told, well, if you want us to take your child, right now there is no space, but if you can buy for her a chair and a table, we can take her. She can start anytime. You just need to buy a chair and a table. Badly, my mother didn't have money to buy a chair and a table. We were already hustling to eat because she wasn't really working. The only job that she used to do is working in a cotton farm. She used to collect cotton, and she used to get paid as she works. So that year she didn't have money for to buy for me a chair and a table. So she said, okay, fine. For this year, you can probably just relax, stay at home, um, take a break from school. We can't find a school for you. We're already late, and we cannot send you back now to the north to go and start. So just stay for this year. So that year, I stayed. I didn't go to school the whole year. I did not go to school. I was just home, basically doing nothing. I think that was in 1999, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere there. And then it was in 1999. So I was supposed to be in grade 2 in 1999. So that year was really fine. And in 2000, my stepfather, I don't know, somewhere, somehow, my stepfather went somewhere. He was a soldier, so he went to DRC, I understand. I can't really remember most of the things, but he went, and it was just me, my mother, and my sister, because my mother had a little baby that time. My sister, who followed me, she was very small. She was a baby, so my mother had to feed us and had to take care of us. So 2000 comes. I didn't go to school because we needed to make money to survive. So what my mother did was that I would not go to school because I had to go and sell. I had to go and sell tomatoes in the street while she goes and sell and work at the cotton farm, so that we can make enough money, because at the cotton farm she wasn't making enough money for all of us to buy electricity, to because I even remember there was a time that our electricity went because we couldn't afford electricity. So for us to afford my electricity, food, and water in town, so I have to go and sell. I have to go and sell tomatoes, and she has to go and work at the cotton farm. So that we have enough income to support all of us. I'm telling you, life was hard that time. You leave home in the morning. She usually, when she's coming back from the cotton farm, that's when she'll buy stock for tomatoes, and she'll pack them into plastic bags. Like she'll pack, I think there were like 4 or 5, I don't know how many, I can't really remember how many there were in the plastic, but I know she'll pack them, and I'll go and sell. So when she's going, I'll go and sell in the street, I'll go to the locations, I know that I used to go around selling tomatoes, and when you are walking around, you need to be shouting. I remember I used to shout, tomatoes, 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 and I think they were just $5. $5 was even a lot. I think they were less than that, like $2 or so. And for that whole year, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. And I did not just start in 2000. I think I started in 1999 towards the end, because I remember there was a new year, and in that new year already we had issues with electricity, with water, and we moved even to another place because we couldn't afford the house where we are staying in, because there was no money. I'm telling you, there was no money. Going to eat, you eat pap and beans. That's what we used to eat. And you know, with the baby, she needed also to buy some food for the baby, the nappies. Life was really hard for us during that time, me and my mom and my sister. So it was really, really difficult to survive for that time when my stepfather was away. So it wasn't easy. And in 2000, towards the end of 2000, my aunt, she lives in Ondangwa. That's where she's staying. So my aunt then called my mother and said, look, why are you punishing this child? This child was supposed to be in school, and for 2 years she didn't go into to school. Are you expecting her to be out of school another year again? Another year, the third year again? Or what is your plan? You need to bring that child from there, bring her here so that she can start school. Other kids are already going to school, and for her, she's selling tomatoes and all that. So my auntie said, no, bring her. Then my mother have to take me from Grootfontein to my aunt's place, her sister. This was her biological sister, not the first aunt, not the first aunt who passed away. That was her cousin, where I used to stay with my mother's cousin is the one who used to mistreat me. The story that I told you in the first video in part 1. But this one is actually her biological sister. So she took me in, and that year 2001, in 2001, so she went to a school, Olono Primary. So she went there, and she took my report. So they actually thought maybe I was going to be taken back now to grade 1. That was their fear. Looking at my age, I was already going to turn 11. Was I going to turn 11? I was already 10 years. And going back to grade 1, it was really they were scared that I would be taken to grade 1. So they spoke to the principal, and the principal said, no, it's fine. See, she can still catch up. She must just go in grade 2. So in 2001, I was in grade 2. So after those 2 years, I didn't go to school. So like in 1999, I didn't go to school. In 2000, I didn't go to school. So I went to school in 2001. So I went to grade 2. That is how now my life started from there. I went to school, then I keep on just upgrading, and I was improving. I didn't know how to read, and I didn't know how to write. In that grade 2, I have to be told everything from scratch, reading, writing, because I have forgotten completely. So I was told from scratch in that grade 2. But what they were saying is that grade 2 and grade 1, they are more or less the same. So I could just catch up. So Oluna Primary, that's where I went. I started in grade 2 up to grade 7. Now, in grade 7, I was staying with my uncle. So I moved from my auntie's house, who actually brought me from Grootfontein to Ondangwa. And then I went to stay with my uncle. There was an uncle of mine who just got married, and I had to stay with them, with a wife. So there has issues in their marriage. It was if I tell you the whole story of what really, really, really happened, it's just so sad. My uncle could abuse the wife. They could fight. There was no really peace. There was no peace in their house when they started fighting. So when I was in grade 7, grade 7, you need to apply to go to high school, to go to grade 8. Okay, so you write exam, then you go to grade 8. Since this is a primary school, it's only from grade 1 to grade 7. So I was then supposed to go to grade 8. I need to apply to different schools to go to grade 8. So what I did is I applied at the school called Ekulo Secondary School. It's a school somewhere just there in Ondonga place, in Ondonga area. So that's where I applied, and my papers were given to someone. My uncle's wife is the one who gave my papers, but I don't know if she gave my paper, she didn't give my paper. I don't know what happened. Come 2007, when I was supposed to be in grade 8, come 2007, my mother came and said, okay, so where are you going? I said, no, I applied at Ekulo. I didn't get anything. There was no communication. I don't know if they accepted me or not. Then we looked for a number for somebody who is working at Ekulo. They called. This child applied. Did you get her forms? They said, no, we did not get her forms. Do you have a place for grade 8? Because this person, this child supposedly applied, and now you are saying you didn't receive the papers. So they said, no, we didn't receive any application forms for her, and we don't have space in grade 8. All our grade 8 are full, and we don't have space. We cannot help you. My mother was like, oh no. So that means we are going to stay another year down without going to school or what? And then she was told and then she should be making calls, and then somebody said, no, if your child didn't get a school, there is a school somewhere in Ohangwena. It's just at the borders, Namibia and Angola, that side of Chicago. My mother said, which school is that? So there are 2 schools. There is Ponofi, but at Ponofi, it will not be easy for you to go there because you didn't apply in August. So, but there is one, is a private school, St. Mary's Odibo High School. So you can go there and find out if there is space. So just that day when my mother was told, she said, you know what, get up. We are going to St. Mary's. Come. So she took me, we went. She asked if there is space. She was told, yes, there is space. You just need to pay for a form and you bring her tomorrow. So my mother was like, oh, fine. I'll just pay this application and I'll bring her. So how much is the school fee? They say, no, school fee per term is 1.5 per term. And that 1.5 is a lot of money for my mother to have 1.5 per term. It's a lot of money for her to actually afford. But she said, you know what, you go to school. What she did not hear was that when I'm going back to school the next day, I need to take along that 1.5, because that 1.5 includes the hostel and the school fee. She did not get that point. So the next day, we just packed my suitcase. I didn't have a blanket. I didn't have clothes. I didn't have many things. We just bought a suitcase, and then she said, oh no, I have this new beddings I just bought. Just carry this one. It was only a duvet. The duvet, the one for covering. That's all that she gave me. And then she bought some soap and lotion, just few things. I was not prepared. My mother was not prepared to take me to secondary school. I mean, in the hostel, nothing. So we just came the next day, and she said, "No, my daughter is here. Remember yesterday?" Then I said, "Okay. So where's the 1.5?" 1.5, where will I get 1.5? I don't have that 1.5. And they said, if you don't have that 1.5, your child will not go in the hostel. That's why they told her. And she was like, okay, let her stay. Let me go and Zula. Let me go and ask. Let me go and borrow. Let me go and see if I'll find somebody who can give me this 1.5. So I stayed with my suitcase just under a tree, and other kids are going in the hostel, and I'm just there looking around, and then bam, I saw a friend, and not really a friend, she was a classmate at my previous school. So I followed her. She said, "Oh, you are here." I said, "Yeah, I'm here, but we don't have money to pay, so I'm just waiting for my mother to come and then pay for the school fees." So I said, "Okay, fine." So I took my suitcase just at the gate of the hostel. They were just there, and I just walk in, and my suitcase were outside. I walk in because I didn't want to stay alone. I didn't want to stay alone there. So when I went, um, I was just in the hostel sitting in there, and then it started getting late. I don't have a phone, but there was this hockey talkies, not a hockey talkie, but you know these phones, man. The these phones on the box. These phones, just those phones. So I went there. I had money. I think you need to put in some money. You put in, and then you call. So I called her. I said, "It's getting late. Are you getting anything?" She said, "No, just wait. I didn't find any money, but I have a friend who is there. For today, if I don't come back, you can just go and sleep at her place. I'll call her." That was now Metalohole. It was she was one of her friends. They used to sing in a choir together at church. So that, and she's from our village. So that's how she knows. She said, "No, if I don't get money today, you will go and sleep at her place, and we will see the way forward." So I was just there now waiting, just in the hostel, sitting there with my friends, and they keep on, I mean, with the girls that are in the room, they keep on asking me, "Oh, are you not coming in?" I said, "No, my mother went to get money, and I don't think if she'll get money, so I don't think if I'll be in the hostel." Luckily, the principal came just to make some rounds. She found me there just sitting outside waiting. Then she said, "Your mother is not yet back." I said, "No, she's not yet back." She said, "So now?" I said, "I don't know. She said she's having a friend somewhere. Maybe that's where I'll go sleep. I don't know." Then she said, "It's fine." He said, "No, it's fine. Just carry on." And then he called now the matron, Mendrotia. He said, "No, let this child go in. Let her stay, and we wait for her mother tomorrow and see the way forward." So that's how I was led in the hostel, just like that. Because I was just sitting there, I didn't move. I was just there in the hostel. So they took me in the hostel. Then I stayed there. I didn't have food. I didn't even know that people need to come with food. So I was really hungry. But luckily, my roommates, they were good people. We shared food, we shared everything, and even my kamatres, I didn't have anything to put on, but one of them, I think, gave me a cover to put on, a bed sheet cover. So I did. I didn't also had a pillow. I remember I didn't have a pillow. I only have a duvet, the one for covering. That's it. That's all what I had in that hostel. And that's how I started. Again, I did not have the right skirt. I bought a skirt, but the skirt that we bought, it wasn't the right one. Luckily, I had a trouser. No, not me. Somebody had a skirt and a trouser, a school uniform for next day now, so that we can go to classes. So what she did was she borrowed me her trouser, since I had a white shirt. So I just wore my white shirt and a trouser that my friend gave me, my roommate gave me, and that's how I went to school. Number one, I didn't have enough money to pay the school, and or even to go in the hostel. But I was led to go in the school. It was just by God's grace. Two, I didn't have a proper school uniform, so my friends, my roommates, she's the one who borrowed me her trouser, and I wore her trouser, and I had a white shirt, and it was okay. And imagine I waited for my mother for a week, a complete week. That's when she got the money for me to go to school. For her to come and pay. So after a week, that's when now she got the money. She came to pay, and she gave me some money to buy my food and my and anything else that I needed, school uniform, a pillow. It was after a week. That's when she came. And from there it was a hassle, even from at school, because there are times that my name would be put on the wall. I didn't pay because my mother didn't have enough money to pay. She has to struggle for that money, and she used to walk in the rain to come and pay. She'll hustle here and there. She will sell things. She will sell her kapana, she will sell her fish, so that I can go to school, because the school was really, really expensive, 1.5. And she had, other siblings. And by the way, my stepfather passed on. And when my stepfather passed on, luckily, she used to get grant, like inheritance, something like that, every month from my stepfather's thing. I don't know how to call it, but at least there we survived. When she has been getting that grant. But it comes at the end of the month, and sometimes you go to school and you have to wait, and it's not even enough for her and for the other kids, my sister and my brother, my two sisters and my brother. So it was really not that easy for me just for her to pay for me a school fee. But you know what, I finished my grade 12 there at St. Mary's, and I went to university again. It was a struggle because I wanted to do education at UNAM, my first choice was to do IT at NAST, and my second choice was to do education at UNAM. So at NAST, I don't know what happened. It seems my application did not get to NAST. At UNAM, they went to UNAM, and I didn't have enough points. I got an E in English. So that made it so hard for me to go to UNAM. I was either going to do access at UNAM, then I can go into education, because I really wanted to be a teacher. So either IT or education. But education and IT were since NAST. That time it was poly. You need to apply in advance. And I was lucky enough to be told that there's IUM, where you can just go right there and then, and they can give you your qualification. They can accept you at IT, and I had enough points, so I started at IUM just like that. I did not apply at IUM. I came to apply when school started already. So that's how I went to IUM. I did my degree, then I did my master's. As I speak to you right now, I'm a lecturer there at IUM. But all that, I didn't just get here with a silver spoon in my mouth. Everything that I'm having today, and what I'm currently doing now, and how I want to pursue my studies, I want to get my PhD and all that, I am being motivated by what I went through when I was a child. My upbringing was was so pity. It's like it's and this is an upbringing for many of us, for many of the childrens here in Namibia. They went through that upbringing. You cannot just wake up one day and you are from a rich family and that's it. I did not come from a rich family. I came from a very poor family, and I'm making it for my mother, for all the troubles that she went through. And when I was studying, when I was doing my grade 12, I was telling myself, you know what, there was a lady that used to drive. I think that time GTIs were coming, and that lady used to work in the bank, in Standard Bank. I used to admire her, the way she would walk, the dressing code, the car. She had everything. You just look at her, and I told myself, you know what, I am going to be like that. I want one day to drive my car. I want one day to work. I want one day to take care of my mother. And I worked hard because I know how it feels to go to school without food. I know how it feels to move from one house to another house. I just didn't want to have that, and I just didn't want my kids to go through that. So I had to work hard. I really, really, really had to work hard, studying hard. I had to make sure. And the reason also why I am pushing even now to pursue my PhD is because I know education means everything. I'm not a business person. I could probably say I'm starting a business, but I'm not good with business, running a business. But I know I can invest. And I can invest in any business that I find. But this is what happened when you go through all those things and you get a chance. When you get a chance to make it, use the chance. That's what I did. I didn't waste any chance that I was given at all, because I knew to be that child hungry, to be mistreated, to be beaten, to go to bed hungry, and tomorrow you go to school, to survive on trees, on fruits. It's a very difficult life that I don't wish it for anybody. And that's what motivates me to be a better person, to work hard, to make sure that my child does not go through what I go through, to make sure that my child go to school, my child eats, my child dresses. And I'm not going to spoil him. No, he also needs to know that people work. What we have, we worked for it. What I have, I worked for it. I can get what I want for myself because I worked for it. If I could have stayed in that village, probably I could just become a village champion. And that's it, no education. And if I could have stayed also in Grootfontein with my mother, probably I could even have become a street kid. But when I was given that chance to go back to school, I thank God, I thank my aunt for standing up and say, you know what, bring this child. My mother is not educated. Nobody is educated. Okay, in my family, especially from my mother's side, it's very few people who are educated. And those who are educated, there are very, very few. And they couldn't really give you much. So anything in life that you need to have, you'd have to work for it. Work for everything that you have. So that is the end of my ups and downs. So next time I will have a guest. I'm going to have a guest next time that she went through a lot due to COVID-19. When COVID came, her job was affected, so she struggled to survive. Actually, up to now, she's struggling to survive, everyday survival. So she will come and tell us her ups and downs that she went through here in Namibia. So this is me, Iyalo, and this is a channel that we talk all our ups and downs, and we inspire one another, and we motivate one another. So please subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you next time. So until next time, guys, ciao ciao.